The Donald Trump ethos is never apologize, never admit an error, and ignore controversy. This week represented a rare break from that. Donald Trump held a 6-hour rally at Madison Square Garden where people said derogatory things about Kamala Harris repeatedly.
She is the Antichrist.
The initial speaker was a comedian. He described Puerto Rico as a
floating island of garbage.
The backlash on social media was instantaneous. In a rare defensive statement, the Trump campaign said that the joke did not reflect how Donald Trump views Puerto Rico. Most in Donald Trump's campaign remain adamant that they think this is just noise, and most people are not hearing it as new information. But allies of Donald Trump are very concerned, privately, and in some cases publicly, that this was an unforced error that some voters might be influenced by. There is a large Puerto Rican voting community in Pennsylvania. That, in particular, is of concern to Republicans. In another clear sign that the Trump team is at least aware that this controversy was not going away, a moment was manufactured at a roundtable that Trump participated in Pennsylvania.
Mr. President, I want you to know that Puerto Rico stands behind you, and Puerto Rico loves you.
No president's done more for Puerto Rico than I have, so thank you. That's really nice of you.
In fact, when a hurricane struck Puerto Rico in 2017, Trump was seen as crass when he went to visit people. He talked about withholding aid to the island. He also tried to downplay the death toll. That is a lingering thing that some Puerto Ricans still point to when they talk about Donald Trump. In a lot of ways, this Madison Square Garden event, which was described as a Trump closing argument, mirrored a kind of mini Republican National Convention. This one was much darker. Harris used the Madison Square Garden event to describe Trump as divisive.
Fans the fuel of hate and division, and that's why people are exhausted with him.
President Biden, however, stepped on what Vice President Harris was attempting to do by appearing to describe Donald Trump supporters as garbage during a Zoom event.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable.
That controversy now is something that Vice President Harris has had to respond to. That Biden comment has also obscured what Democrats have been trying to do, which is point to Trump's increasingly authoritarian rhetoric and warnings from people who served under him, including former General John Kelly, who was one of his White House chiefs of staff. Kelly has said that Donald Trump meets the definition of a fascist. Trump has responded by mocking this idea.
And then they say, he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi.
This is coming at a very bad moment for him when some undecided voters or persuadable voters are still making up their minds about what to do. At the same time, we've seen several of these kinds of controversies before, and they haven't done much lasting damage to Trump.